to see. Let's run one of these clips over here. This is one of my very favorites.
I got us our old job back. Here we go.
Living color, all black and white. Each Friday night, I'm up all night.
I love that. That Lucy
great.
clip. Now, were you a big fan of Lucille Ball's?
She's totally, yeah, she's my idol. I mean, I idolize her. She, what happened was, we've done so many different shows in the last 7 years. We've done Entertainment Tonight, where I've actually covered events, to slumber parties with that's what all the guys' favorites, with lots of sexy girls in my big heart-shaped bed. To this year, you know, the show's now coming from New York, so it has a different kind of New York feel. I wanted to go back and do some acting, and we decided to do like our own TV Land from Hell. So we've done Gilligan's Island, and we've done The Honeymooners.
I Dream of Jeannie.
I Dream of Jeannie.
Yeah.
You
Does I look like Barbara Eden?
You are wonderful as Barbara Eden.
That's that's why I wanted to have a sitcom, because I grew up watching I Dream of Jeannie.
Sure. Is that now, because you're also the winner of 40, this is going to surprise nobody at home, 40 beauty contests, right? So
yeah, and I still have the pageant hair, so once you're a pageant girl, you're always a pageant
I don't want to tell you, there's still a tiara stuck on
I'm
the side of the hair.
And I've just made them into rings.
Oh, there you go.
Well, what's the story? It's an interesting one where a title was taken away for you.
Yes, they revoked my title. I was a Miss Louisiana, but I was also, at the same year that I was holding Miss Louisiana, I was holding something called the Floral Trail Society Queen in New Orleans. That's where I'm from. And that wasn't really a beauty pageant. It was a social honor where your parent, you know, sort of like the debutante thing. And that's the same year I posed for Playboy with all my clothes on. Playboy came through town and was looking for girls of the New South, and I was modeling, and I didn't want to take my clothes off, and I told the photographer, he goes, no, but we always shoot some fully clothed shots, and I can't guarantee it'll end up in the magazine. Of course it did, in a big antebellum dress, like very Scarlett O'Hara, and this pageant not this pageant, but this group got very upset over the connotation of my appearing in Playboy, because they were very prim and proper New Orleans people, and the ladies didn't like that I was in Playboy.
But everybody else did.
They did. I ran for public office over the whole thing. I wanted to be reinstated as Queen of the Floral Trail, but they took my title away.
They took away your title. And now, so 40, now that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's
48
a lot. 48,
Whoa.
but who's counting? That's something. And then, so when did the comedy come in? Had you always loved, looks to me like with those sitcoms, when we see you do those characters, you look like you must have really loved watching the comedy.
I never really took the pageant stuff really seriously. I just liked winning. I liked the crown and the banner is what the whole thing really was. And I was a dancer, and I wanted, it was the talent part of the competition that I really enjoyed. So when I moved out to Hollywood, I didn't know anyone, so I went back and I entered pageants again. It was the only way that I could, you know, get an agent. And sure enough, I entered the Miss Los Angeles Press Club contest, because I was a communications major, and they only wanted communications journalism majors in this pageant. And I won, and lo and behold, I was the last one. Marilyn Monroe was the first, I was the last. I met some people through that pageant, my first agent, and got hooked up with Harvey Lembeck's workshop, who was just the king of teaching improvisational comedy. Robin Williams came out of his workshop.
Wasn't Harvey Lembeck in the Beach movies, right?
Yes, Eric Von Zipper.
Eric Von
very
Zipper,
good,
yeah.
because a lot of people don't remember that.
Yeah.
His son, Michael Lembeck's a huge director now. But he just, everyone came out of that class, John Ritter. So I just fell in love with it, because I just started making fun of myself in the class and the pageants, and I hooked up with a fellow comedian, and we did improvisational comedy and mime and just goofy stuff, more like Saturday Night Live sketches. And eventually I started doing solo stand-up, you know.
And where were you first working in L.A.? What were the rooms that...
gosh, showcase rooms. This guy named Skippy Lowe used to run these showcases.
Skippy Lowe,
Skippy
yeah,
Lowe.
sure.
The very first time I went on stage doing stand-up was in a Skippy Lowe showcase at a Ramada Inn, and I followed 5 little black kids doing Michael Jackson. And I thought I got a laugh. I'm not sure, maybe someone was coughing in the back of the room. And I had laugh ears, and I just fell in love with it. And but I started off as an actress. I moved to LA, and I acted first, and so I sort of went backwards. Most people do stand up to get into acting, so it's sort of nice to have that background, even though people forget and they think, well, you're just a host, but that Hollywood does that.
Well, 7 years ago, how did that start, the Up All Night?
They were Gilbert Gottfried had been hosting on Saturday nights for 2 years before I got there, and there was a female that they had hired, and they wanted someone who was a little bit, you know, I guess sexy or more late night into whatever. That just wasn't her thing, and so they recast that job, and I got it, and so you know,
the rest is
history.
history.
Yeah, they wanted
that's
a stand-up. They wanted
history.
someone who had a stand-up comedy background, but yet wouldn't be afraid of being out there. And so I was so tired of being told that I didn't look like a comedian, that I was too sexy to be a comedian, that I went just straight for it. Lots of cleavage, big hair, and I said, you know, I really can't hide the way I'm built or anything. I might as well just go for it. And you sort of get stuck in that because people then, it's like,
Did you really find that to be a disadvantage in the comedy, or did people just tell you it
well, being a
would be?
woman's a disadvantage.
That's true. That is true. I couldn't argue that one.
It's just still a more of a male-dominated field. As I say, it's just the woman who's more the maternal person, so a female's voice is sort of softer than a male's voice. So unless you're just a big, brash, you know, female comic, it's more difficult. You really have to prove yourself more. I find that the same lines that I could do, a guy can do and would get bigger laughs than if I do them. It's just sort of weird. In the meantime, then you add the blonde hair and a sexier or a, you know, what people perceive as sexier, and
it is.
Really
It is.
They're totally confused. I walk out on stage, they're like,
I think
is
that's
she going
a
to
fact,
sing?
not
Is
an
she going to break
yeah.
into song? And it's confusing, but I love it.
But
So
you know, people love you, and of course that show, the success is owed to you because it's interesting. You're showing a type of movie that you wouldn't think would show on USA, where they can't show the parts of the movie that people like. Did that make sense?
Yes, yeah. And what's really funny is that USA
No, it
Network.
didn't, did it?
No. Well, we're basically, my job is filling in where they've cut out all the nudity.
That's right.
And language.
That's what I wanted
That's
to
what
say.
my whole career
You
is
said it
based
much
on.
better.
Well-
Just the removal of those parts. In the meantime, USA is like such a conservative network. We don't say it. It appears like our show is so sexy. So we have all these young kids tuning in, hoping they're going to see something, and they never see anything. And our language is much cleaner than network television.
It's very funny. Let's do one more clip.
Okay,
I love
okay.
some of your characters. We're going to do one more clip.
I love her so much. She'll make a good match for my Ken doll.
Hey, this might not be so bad after all. Look, you guys get back to the movie. I'm being bought. I mean, someone's buying me. No, that's not right. I've got it. Someone's investing in me.
That's great. The Bobby clip. I love that.
Well, it's
And,
because I'm a Barbie girl. No, it's true. I'm a big doll collector. That's what I do in my spare time. Well,
and you're quite an expert on this, right? You write
I
in the
am.
journals. And,
I'm writing for Doll magazine now, which is very cool. I'm a collector of Madame Alexander dolls and Barbie.
What kind of
and-
things do you write? What would be a typical article?
Well, I wrote about I wrote about my experience as being a new collector and how exciting it is to collect some of the new dolls. Like I'm in love with Madame Alexander's Sissy doll, which I know you're looking at me like
Yeah,
"That's a
right.
Sissy doll."
Sissy doll.
But to me, more.
I thought all dolls were sissy dolls. Then I'm just a
And
guy.
that's good that
I'm
you think
sorry,
that way.
you know.
That's how I would want my son to think if I have a son. In the meantime, just being a new collector, what it's like, and going to doll shows, and walking into F.A.O. Schwartz here in
Now, I was
in
going to
Las
say they have a
Vegas.
wonderful exhibit at
Yes,
the moment, don't
yes,
they?
I have my own personal shopper here in Las Vegas. And writing about new Mel Odom, who's a fabulous new designer who designed a doll called Jean, who's like exploding the market, and Barbie's a little nervous over Jean. She's a little jealous. She's a little taller and a little bustier.
So you're really an expert on all this stuff.
Yeah,
That's
well,
Well, they've changed Barbie, right? What's
They've changed
the deal?
Barbie. I'm not really happy with that. Her
No.
face is actually really more beautiful.
Neither's Ken.
Ken's always a dork. Always be a dork. No matter what they do with him, he's a dork. But I have like 2 Ken dolls and like 3,000 Barbies. But no, they made her less busty and made her waist less, curvaceous. So I think if Barbie were a real person, she'd be like 39, 19, like 24, something just outrageous. So they've made her like 32, 24. But I think that when the new Barbie goes home and she competes with the old Barbies, it's
Well-
going to be liposuction time for the
Well,
new Barbie.
exactly.
They're going to be giving her little wonder bras.
Well, we'll be talking to Ken on his view on that. But you know what we have to do? Every show, we ask our guests their 5 favorite movies. If you were stranded on a desert island and you
wouldn't
had
be
just
movies.
5 movies,
I'd
it
be
wouldn't be
looking
movies.
for coconuts.
What movies would it be, though?
Well,
now?
okay, so
You're an expert, right?
I know, I host films, and
That's
yet
right.
that's why I hate watching them. I'm like, no more film. Well, of course, I'm a romantic, so Gone with the Wind is my all-time favorite.
That's a great one.
And Sunset Boulevard, because I am Norma Desmond, or I will be Norma Desmond. What else? Some Like It Hot, because
Some
Marilyn
Like It
Monroe,
Hot, yes.
absolutely.
Your last 2 were Billy Wilder movies, by the way.
Yeah, right. No.
And,
Probably The Graduate.
The Graduate,
Oh,
I
yeah.
love Dustin
pick.
Hoffman, and I just love that film.
The number
And-
one, we'll give it a little
Well,
drum
this
roll.
isn't the number one, but actually it's like something. It's like really goofy because I'm a Lucy fan, like the Long Long Trailer.
Oh,
that was
loved the
funny.
Long
Yeah.
Long
Very
Trailer.
funny
Yeah,
movie.
I mean just anything with Lucy and Desi.
I love that.
All
with
classics,
all the rocks
all on
coming
video,
out.
yeah.
Yeah, and they're all
I
some of
think
my favorite people.
The scene when she's cooking and the eggs are
Right,
sliding off.
down.
I love that.
And I just love, she
Well,
was obviously
thank you
my
for
idol.
joining us. You're going to come back later for our video picks,
Yes.
I hope. Thank
And
you
a few
I
more
will.
very
movies
much.
from you.
Video
Thanks,
pics.
Rhonda.
Oh,
We're here
Gary.
at 2 in the morning. We're up all night
All
with
night.
the wonderful, the one and only Rhonda Shear. We're going to be back with Bobby Kelton and more on the Entertainment Files after these messages.
Welcome back to the Entertainment Files. We have a very special guest. He's one of the hottest comedians on the comedy club circuit, and he's been on The Tonight Show 20 times, making the debut right here on the Entertainment Files. Bobby Kelton, thanks for being here.
All right, hi, Bobby. Nice to meet you in
Thank
person.
you. Where did you get that 20 times? It's actually 21.
Oh,
21.
21,
Yeah.
excuse me.
Update the bio.
Wow, we're going to have to
that
get that
extra
one
one.
right back. 21 times. What
That's
was
great.
the year you did your first Tonight Show set? I bet you remember the date, don't you?
July 27th, 1978.
Yeah.
And then August 17th, 1970. I remember the date of every one of my Tonight Shows and also just about all the other guests that were on.
Really?
Yeah, it was
Really?
very impressionable. But,
Which,
Well, name a
which-
favorite time.
Yeah.
Favorite moment.
the favorite moment had to be the first one because it's an incredible experience, something that you only dream of when you're starting out, getting on the Tonight Show. And I got a standing ovation. And that
You
was
got a standing ovation
Which-
on your first. Wow.
Which, according to a book that just came out by Comedy Central, that's the one and only time spontaneous standing ovation ever happened. I said goodnight. I went back behind the curtain, and I'm going backstage, and the station pushes me out. He says, "You got to go back out there." I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "Johnny's just waving you out there." I was on cloud nine anyway, and I go out there, and they're all standing and wave, and I wave to him, and I go back, and after that, the rest was history. Here I am.
So who was on that show with you? Do you remember the guests? Of
Yeah,
course.
Angie Dickinson.
Oh, hey.
I'd still be doing that same set. I'd be doing that same bit of material for the rest of my life. That would be it. Oh,
I'd do some of
say
that.
nothing.
Actually, it's interesting about material. You always have to update and change. But the good stuff that you can that maybe the great stuff, you don't want to ever throw it away completely because there's still a lot of people that have never heard it. There'll always be people that never heard it, and some of that stuff I still do occasionally.
Well, I'm a variety performer. We never change anything that much. This is why comedians tend not to like us. We change a little bit here because it just gets better and better. But you didn't start. Now you have a sports background. You're a sports journalist.
Yeah, I was a journalism major at Syracuse University. And I went out to California and started writing for the LA Times. I started writing some sports stuff, and that was my main thing. And people ask me why I didn't stick with that. I don't know. I just wanted to try something else. I was right out of college, but I did that for about a year. And as a result of that, a lot of my comedy is sports-oriented. And I've done a lot of sports shows and stuff on Sports World and ESPN and all that stuff. And I perform at a lot of sports functions, like at the Super Bowl and stuff like that.
I know you do corporate work. I do a lot of corporate work, and people talk about the work that you do. The fact that that sports stuff is integrated in, because that's always something that can be related to.
Yeah.
in
What
that
sport do
area.
you get the most material from?
Actually, probably just the general stuff of watching sports on TV. I get a little bit everything. I do takeoffs on like the vendors at the stadiums, why there's such unappetizing people and yet they're selling the food. Soda here. They always have those characters. But I touch on everything. Golf. The announcers are always whispering, even though they're 4,000 miles away in the booth. And so on and so forth. So I
Cricket? Do you have any cricket jokes?
Yeah.
You do?
I emceed a big cricket event in Los Angeles. Do you know much about cricket?
I'm English.
You know Norman Gifford?
Yeah, oh, yes.
Great cricket player. He came over with the English team, and they played at the Rose Bowl. And there was a big event, and I was the host on the field. And I don't have any material on it because Americans wouldn't get the joke. I'm not going to waste my time. But I did go to Britain. I did the Des O'Connor show.
Oh, that's a great show.
Yeah.
Des is a nice guy.
Yeah,
isn't
very
he?
nice. It was
Yeah.
fun doing that show.
Well, cricket is baseball for people with inhibitions. This is the only way I can understand. You know, we have something we have to do before, and we want you to come back for the video picks too, but we want to have your list of 5 movies that if you were stuck on a desert island without Rhonda,
would I have somebody else to
need movies.
wait, would I have somebody else to run the projector?
Oh.
Okay. 5 movies.
5 videos.
Guilty pleasures included.
Yes.
Okay.
Indeed.
In any particular order?
No,
The first one.
no, you can
Okay. 2001: Space Odyssey.
Okay. You're the
Best
first
ever
person
made.
who said that since we've begun. That's a wonderful
Really? Is that
movie.
so? We've
Yes.
never had anybody.
Always
choose
one
that.
of my
That's interesting.
favorites. A very kind of a cult movie, but Somewhere in Time.
Oh, with
Some-
Christopher
oh,
Reeve.
wonderful
That's an
movie.
interesting
Which
pick.
Yes.
a great movie. I love the time loop thing. I love
Yes.
all that. Now this may seem kind of trite, but Woody Allen's Take the Money and Run. I love all of Woody Allen's
One of the
movies,
first ones.
but that was the first one. And to go to a theater and laugh that hard, to be able to just laugh, you know, it was great.
That
to
one
me.
has such a free spirit to it.
That's
I mean,
right.
anything
The
goes.
scene
kind
when
of
the
thing.
soap gun melts. That to me is one of those great moments. Just the visual
Right.
of it. These are great movies. You
Right.
got 2 more. This is,
Because as a kid, you can't forget the movies you saw when you were little, because you tend to remember more than ones now. But I mean, the 10 Commandments was a classic, and just like, you know, that scene with the river partying, you know, when you're a little kid. So I always, you know, love that. And finally, I think actually number 1 is The Graduate.
oh, The Graduate. Yeah.
We have
That
2
and-
picks for The Graduate.
Well, I really related to Dustin Hoffman at that time. You know, I think most guys, you know, did in a sense, because getting out of college or whatever he was doing, and you know, you're about that age, and it was a great movie. I still watch that any day.
Plastics.
I was going to say,
I still use that line.
Did anyone ever walk up to you and say, comedy? That would have been, nobody says that.
They say
We've
plastics.
got to take a break, but you're going to come back, I hope, with our video
Great.
picks. Thank you for joining us.
Pleasure.
This has
Thanks,
been
man. It was a lot of fun.
wonderful
Thank you.
through down to here. We're going to take a little break. We're going to be back with our video picks, back with Bobby and Rhonda, so stay tuned, and we'll be right back with more Entertainment Files.
Welcome back to the Entertainment Files. The answer to the trivia question, who was the great 70s star who was in Sheba Baby and Foxy Brown and Coffee, and that was Pam Grier. She's making a nice comeback now in the new Quentin Tarantino movie, Jackie Brown. And, you know, for my pick, though, if you're up late at night, there's nothing better than a women's prison film. And one of my favorites was Caged Heat, directed by Jonathan Demme. And, boy, it's a classic. It's got everything I like, nudity, violence, and it's trashy.
Well, more about you than we ever needed to know, Sean.
A little bit
I'm going
scary.
to change the tone totally. I like Reform School Girl.
Oh, yes.
You
That's
know,
a classic
Wendy
pick,
O.
isn't it?
Williams, and that did it all, but it did it slightly over the top. Through. Now, how about you? What
Classic
kind of a
of all my
movie?
films you're
Oh,
naming.
yes.
Both of them we've
Oh,
had.
you
Who's
have.
the Cage Heat? Who was
Barbara Steele. She
Wow.
started out in Hammer horror movies. She's great.
And that was a Jonathan Demme movie.
Yes, it was.
Serious
the?
director.
Can I just tell you, it's such a there's such a major following for those kind of films. I mean, that's why
yes.
we've been on the air for at least 10 years.
Oh, and
but-
basic training would have to be up.
Thank you.
And Attack of the Killer Bimbos.
No, wait. We should name my film.
Yes, we want
Yes.
to hear them. They're-
Basic training. I had a small part in Galaxina.
Oh.
Oh, with Dorothy Stratton.
Yes, I
yeah.
forget my own filmography until I go search around the internet.
But I love that movie with Avery Schreiber. That's a great
yes,
movie.
what's the one with Mel Brooks? Spaceballs.
Spaceballs.
Hell Comes to Frog. No, yeah, Hell
Roddy
Comes to
Piper.
Frogtown.
Yeah.
2 or 3, I forget which one.
Roddy Piper?
Attack of the Attack of the Party Nerds. I think 3 or 4.
Tender Loving Care.
Tender Love and Care.
Well, these are
Scary
great
film.
movies.
Do you ever pop up on your own show?
Yes.
Oh, really?
That's how I remember that I even did these films. I was hosting Tender Love and Care, and I told my producer, I said, I think I'm in this film. I'm not sure. I had to tape the whole. I taped the whole up all night just to see it. But anyway.
And what other kind of topics about movies would interest you? What would be the areas?
Well, you know what I loved First Wives Club. That's a film that I would just rent and make every guy watch.
And
Teach him a lesson.
We really enjoyed My Best Friend's Wedding.
Oh, that was
Yeah.
very good.
We-
Rupert
That's-
Everett was so
and
wonderful.
then
in
the
that.
scene, the singing in a restaurant, I Say a Little Prayer, was classic.
So funny.
Those are great movies.
I
both
guess
on
we like a
video.
little because today's films you don't the campy films. Remember we were thinking about that on the way over. Like all of our favorite films really are these films from 20, 30 years
Yeah,
ago.
exactly.
How come you see great films today, but yet they don't stick in your head? Like The Graduate, I can so vividly remember that last scene with Dustin Hoffman.
I
and the
agree.
Bronx.
Movies aren't as
yes.
good as they used to be.
Well,
Even the cult
and
movies aren't as
just to
good.
prove it, we had a guest 2 weeks ago. We had Dolores Fuller from Glen or Glenda.
She was the star of the old
she
Ed
was
Wood movies.
Edward's
Oh, my
lady
God.
friend, and she wore the Angora sweater.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
I
It's
love
pretty
that. I love
exciting.
the film. I just played
The Ed Wood movie?
Vampira. I mean, I did a takeoff on Vampira for Up All Night.
People
That
have
was
such a
interesting.
fascination with those movies. Those are the movies that'll live on.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
It's
That,
really
you know,
interesting.
whilst we've got you guys together, we got to do one
Yes.
little clip. You didn't know it. Can we run that other clip just for a moment?
I'm Shear, and this is my soon-to-be ex-husband, Sonny.
Don't tempt me.
You're jealous of me. That's why you've made all those nasty comments.
I'm jealous of you. You're jealous of me because I made you what you are today.
Yeah, a wife married to a tone-deaf midget with a mustache.
I love that.
That's how
Sonny
tall I
and Cher.
was, huh? I was
You're,
much
you're
taller
the
than him.
perfect Sonny and Cher.
No, thank you. I was just like this the whole day, and I had a smile. But, you know, she was incredible as Cher because I didn't even. She had the prosthetic nose, and as you saw, and
I was
the hair.
mean to him the
And she was
entire
me-
day.
I didn't-
Oh, that's
you know what? While I was doing it, I could not picture Rhonda. I couldn't even picture what Rhonda looked like. She was Cher, and she was mean.
I was mean. But
Well,
then that's what makes it
And you're
fun.
Sonny, and also one of my other favorites, Troll, with Sonny Bono. I had
That's
to
right,
throw
he's
that
in
in.
Troll.
That's another.
We'll
Oh,
have
you
to
missed
rent
Troll.
that.
You got to rent that.
Typecasting,
Classic
perhaps?
there, Troll. That's a whole family favorite.
A great
through
cast:
on
Sonny
that.
Bono and Gary Sandy from WKRP in Cincinnati.
That's keep going. That's
We'll
a
be
good
renting
one.
that tonight.
Yes,
Oh
I'm sure
yes,
you will.
it's a romantic movie. It's definitely so. Well, this has been a lot of fun. We've really enjoyed
Thank
getting
you. You have
to
to come
meet
out and see
you
us
both.
argue on stage.
Oh,
That's
we
No,
would
you have
love
to come out
to.
and see a shop, which is what basically.
That's
do
what
most
you
of
do the
time.
best.
She drags you, doesn't? You don't go willingly, do you?
No.
Well, no man does. Well, we've got to go. This has been so. We could be up
We'll do it
all
again.
night,
Oh,
truly all
good.
night
Thanks,
with
Bob.
you guys. Thank
Thanks,
you
guys.
very much.
Thank you.
indeed. We're here with the wonderfully talented Rhonda Shear and Bobby Kelton. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week with more Entertainment Files.